Good day, everybody. Steve Prziborowski here. Welcome to episode 76 of Reach for the Firefighter Badge. Episode 76 is going to discuss more about what a firefighter actually does. This will be part 5. So as always, a reminder, my two websites, code3firetraining.com and chabotfire.com. Lots of great information on there to help you be the best firefighter you can be. Whether you're a current firefighter and you want to be the best firefighter and you want to maybe even promote, or you're just a future firefighter that wants to be the best you can be. Lots of great free information on there to help you. Also, 2 of the 3 books I have are focused on firefighter career preparation, valuable resources off of my website as well. Now, we've talked about in episodes 4, 73, 74, and 75, we've discussed what a firefighter actually does. Let's continue with some of those details so you get a good idea of what to expect when you become a firefighter. And again, maybe this is helping you. I know this sounds weird. If nothing else, maybe I'm talking you out of becoming a firefighter and you're going, why would you do that? Well, it's not all about, I'm not here to give you a trophy. I'm here to open your eyes because maybe this isn't a career for you. Seriously, for some people, they're like, I didn't sign up to do this. Look at right now, as I'm taping this, we're in the middle of a pandemic from COVID-19. There's a lot of firefighters around the country that are saying, I didn't sign up to do this crap. Well, yeah, you did sign up to do this crap because when you got on the job, you knew you're running medical calls and you also knew that you are going to be exposed to a lot of different things, communicable diseases. You're going to be dealing with pandemics. You're going to be dealing sometimes with national health crises. And that's what a fire department is there for. So we don't just fight fire and save lives, as we know. So really, you have to realize what you're getting into. And then if you still say, I didn't sign up for that, then always look at the last part of your job description. I bet you in every job description around the country, the last line is always, and duties as assigned or determined by the fire chief. That covers everything. I don't mean to be mean about that, but again, go in eyes wide open. And if this is not the career for you, find another career that's the career for you. And hopefully you have some more respect about what a firefighter actually does. So some other roles, customer service representative. Everything we do is about the customer. And I know some people in the fire service don't like us using the term customer service. Well, think about it. That's why you have a fire department, whether they're paid, whether they're volunteer. We're here to serve the customer. The customer is the one that calls 911 usually. So we're here to provide great possible service. The late retired fire chief of the Phoenix Fire Department, Alan V. Brunacini. I remember Alan, good friend of mine, great mentor, great role model. If you've never heard of Bruno, just Google Alan Brunacini and lots of great things he's done over his, almost 50 years he was in the Phoenix Fire Department. In all ranks. So a great leader, mentor, wrote some great books, you'll find a lot of his stuff on YouTube. But again, Alan was sort of like the expert to expose us to customer service. He wrote a book on fire service, customer service. A lot of great things that he really opened our eyes to, pretty much the point of, he made it loud and clear that, you know what? The customer don't care how great you pull a hose or throw a ladder. They don't give a crap about that. They don't, what they care about is, number one, are you nice to them? Number 2, did you get there reasonably fast without killing yourself or anybody else in the process? And did you solve their problem? And if you didn't solve their problem, were you able to at least find somebody else that could? So the be nice, you may hear that a lot. Be nice is from Chief Brunacini, God rest his soul, great man. But again, we have to be focused on the customer, because if we're not, they're going to question why we're here. Look at law enforcement right now. Our brothers and sisters in blue in law enforcement are getting crucified because of the actions of a few. I mean, every industry, including the fire service, has some bad apples. It's just the way it is. And look at law enforcement, what they're dealing with because of some of their bad apples. They're taking a major hit in the public relations area, and not just public relations, budget-wise. Look at the amount of police departments around the country that are getting pushed on to defund the police department. I don't know what that truly means. I think time will tell over that. But there's obviously a push from a lot of the public to say, you know what, we don't like or we don't appreciate what our law enforcement officers are doing. So you know what, we need to find a different way to do things. We need to reform what they're doing and find better ways for them to do their job. So given that, again, the police departments that'll be successful are the ones that pay attention to what's going on in society as well as within their community. We don't like sometimes things that are pushed upon us or forced upon us, but we have no choice. We have to do our best to live within the means, because we tend to forget sometimes we serve the community. And if we're not serving the community, why do you have a police department? Why do you have a fire department? So just some things to think about. Without, I mean, I'm not trying to make this a political thing, but we have to be aware of customer service because it's critical. And I encourage all of us, we need to learn from law enforcement. Some police departments, police chiefs are really doing, I think, the right thing, trying their best to get in front of this. But some are just really, for whatever reason, not wanting to maybe admit it, and they're getting crucified in social media and in the world today. And I mean, police chiefs are losing their jobs because they're not responsive enough to the community needs. Fire chiefs in today's world are also losing their jobs very quickly, not because of the same issues that law enforcement is having, but for not being responsive to the needs of the community. I mean, it's an interesting, challenging world we live in, and we have to, it's our responsibility as public servants to be able to live within it and do the best we can to represent the community. Because if we're not, why do we have a fire department? We're public educators. Now, everyone I know in the fire service, well, we're all about lights and sirens and responding to emergencies, but think of it this way. If we're actually responding to a fire, responding to a medical call, that's the last line of defense. Yeah, that's why we're here, but we probably need to do a better job of public education or community risk reduction, all terms that you should be familiar with. Because if we can prevent the fire, if we can prevent the medical emergency or any significant issue, the accident, yeah, we're doing our jobs. Unfortunately, I know there's a lot of firefighters that, well, if we prevent all the fires, there's no need for a fire department. I'll be out of a job. There's no fun, God forbid. Well, I hate to say it, but if we're relying on our fun at someone else's expense because their house catches on fire, that's pretty sick and twisted. I'll admit it. You know, we should be there to be offering our assistance to the public and educating them. And that's why usually many fire departments try to get into the schools, the elementary schools, and catch kids like in the 4th grade, the 5th grade, the 6th grade, or maybe even junior high or high school, to try to get things pushed up front to help educate them when they're young and in their formative years. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's why we do those things. Because if we just give up, then we give up, and then we got to live with ourselves when bad things happen. I mean, to me, when someone dies in a fire, or even when a fire occurs, we should be taking it personally that we didn't do a better job to try to help educate them. Now, we're not going to educate everybody, but we don't give up either. You know, educate people to have working smoke alarms, educate people to have fire sprinklers, you know, because sprinklers save lives. Alarms help when they're working and functioning with a battery in them, are actually helping people get out safely. But again, sadly, as we know with many tragic fires, these things aren't happening. Obviously, computers are alive and well in today's world. I mean, in the year 2020, you can't get away from computers. I mean, a fire engine or truck you buy today, every vehicle has computers on it. Every firehouse office has at least one computer in it, maybe more. I mean, there'll be computers in the office. There'll be computers not just in the rig itself, meaning in the engine compartment and making the rig function, but also computers in the cab. Computers that'll, you know, iPads or maybe Panasonic Toughbooks that help route us to the call or help maybe allow us to communicate with dispatch, giving us dispatch information, stuff like that. So we got to be the first line of defense. One of the things that really, I think, pisses your IT off, your information technology staff off, is when you call up, because we've all had this happen, and I've been guilty of this too. Hey, the computer's broken. And then, of course, the first question is which computer? Oh, the one in the office. Which one? There's 2 of them. Oh, the one by the desk over here. Okay. It's almost like fishing to get the information out of the person because we get lazy and complacent. Then it's like, okay, what is wrong with it? Will it turn on or not even turn on at all? Well, it turns on. Okay. Do you have internet access? Huh? You know, is it an internet access issue? Well, I can't get the internet. Which browser did you try? Chrome, Safari? Because if it's a browser issue, is it all the browsers that you have available? And then maybe, but does the computer work otherwise? Yeah, maybe your internet cable got disconnected. Well, I don't get paid to check that stuff. Well, yeah, you do. Because if you're relying on your IT department to come out, Johnny on the spot, to help your station out, it probably ain't going to happen. So you got to have basic common sense to help troubleshoot issues. Now, be careful what you're doing so you don't damage things and screw things up. But again, cautiously be able to know how to, you know, the internet cable's got to come in, Wi-Fi's got to be able to work, or whatever basic troubleshooting. Also, public information officer, sort of different from public education officer, but we're here to inform the public. Now, not every department can afford a public information officer, someone that's dedicated 24/7 to provide information to the media and to the public when things happen. Not just when things happen, but even in boring times, just to keep the fire department's name out there with good public education tips. Like, hey, it's 4th of July right now, be safe, you know, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have a public education and public information person dedicated, which most of us don't, guess who's going to be doing that work? The fire crews at the firehouses. So we need to be able to be comfortable interacting with the public. You can't be a jackass to the citizens. Remember what I said about Chief Brunacini. Be nice, smile on your face will go a long ways. You're also going to have to be a TV repair person or troubleshooter, because I don't know of a firehouse in the country that doesn't have a TV, at least one TV in it. Again, you're not there to maybe completely fix it or overhaul it, but again, at least basic troubleshooting 101. Is it a cable issue? Is it satellite issue? Is it, I don't know what. So understand the basics there. And again, this stuff shouldn't be really out of the ordinary, because if you think about it, most of the stuff applies to your house or your apartment or your condo or wherever you live. I mean, because really your firehouse is your second home. So understanding how to do these things will pay off big time at home. Also, fire prevention inspector. I mentioned the importance of public education, community risk reduction. Fire prevention is extremely critical. And I know it's not that sexy, and most firefighters, I love it when I ask firefighters, what do you think about fire prevention? Well, it sucks because it takes away all the fires. So you want people to die so you can have fun. You want people to lose their house and their livelihood or their belongings so you can have fun. Well, not really. Really? We need to be as aggressive in fire prevention, because I think that's a good significant thing. Some could argue fire prevention may not be working because there's still fires, but fires are on the decline, and it all depends. But we need to be our best to be fire prevention friendly as well as public education. I know they're not exciting as running to a call with lights and siren and, you know, but it's an important part of what we do. Fire investigator, pretty much in most states, the fire department, when there's an actual fire, is required typically by the fire code to investigate the fires. So the fire investigators, again, most departments may not have a dedicated fire investigator or public information officer or public education officer, or maybe even fire prevention inspectors that work 40 hours a week doing just that. It may be the fire crew that has to do the investigation. So we may be having to do these things ourselves. And again, you should get basic training on how to do these things. That's not the issue. But even if you're not providing the basic training, these are things that should be in your wheelhouse. Hazardous materials first responder. You know, if you think about it, we're first responders, just like law enforcement, just like EMS workers, but we occasionally respond to hazardous materials calls. 30 years ago, when I was first trying to get in the fire service, if someone was at the gas station and their gas tank overflowed because of, you know, things today are a lot more safer. But 30 years ago, when the gas overflowed from the tank and onto the ground, I remember the fire department would come, and instead of putting some kitty litter on it or absorbent like we would do today, the fire department would grab like the booster line or whatever hose line, and then they usually hose it down. We call it a wash down. You know, you wash the deck down, asphalt down, and you wash it right into the storm drain. Well, we don't do that stuff today. That's illegal. Yeah, we don't need to get cited or anyone go to jail or whatever else. Yeah, we don't wash things into the storm drain, because we've realized over the years that's bad. That's bad juju. So today, if we have some gasoline that's overflowed at the gas station, I guess, we put some kitty litter or absorbent on it to soak it all up, mostly to suppress the fumes, because it's not the liquid that catches fire, it's the fumes. So we try to suppress the fumes, and then from there, we'll usually contain it in whatever way, and then maybe call our public works department, or depending on the location, if it's the city streets, then public works. But if it's a private business, like say the gas station, we'll require them to usually pay for the disposal of it, educating them that you can't just throw this in the trash, or you have to do this. And that's a whole nother issue with hazmat disposal that we don't have time to get into, but we're doing all these things. We're also a medical professional, because most departments, very few do not run medical calls. It's hard to find a fire department that does not run medical calls. Maybe they're volunteer departments, but most career departments run medical calls. And the level of EMS training on board most fire engines or trucks is either paramedic, EMT, or maybe just first responder. Paramedic is like 1,000+ hours, EMT a little bit over 100 hours, and then first responder training traditionally is about maybe 50 hours, CPR, and then some stuff way above advanced first aid. But again, we're medical professionals because when someone calls 911, we're usually the first to go out because we have firehouses strategically located around the community. There's more firehouses than there are ambulances out there. That's why it makes sense to have firefighters functioning as EMTs and paramedics. And I say, you notice how I didn't include first responder? I say functioning as EMT or paramedic because a first responder really can't do much of anything, nothing personal. It's just basically take vital signs, but you don't really have that training like an EMT or paramedic does. Can't really do much. You're basically just sort of like a Band-Aid until the ambulance gets there with EMTs or medics. Rescue technician, because when people get into car accidents or have other rescue needs, they usually call the fire department because that's what we do. So we'll be helping people get them out of rescue situations. Oh, took me 45 items, but now we're at firefighter again, which is a small percentage of our job, but occasionally we do fight fires. So, and always, as I mentioned, time and time again, there's probably a lot of things I did not cover and that you may be asked to do during your career, but please don't be that person that raises your hand and say, well, Captain or Chief, that's not in my job description. Because whenever you say that's not in my job description or even worse, that's not my job, don't be surprised if the person pulls out the job description, which is there because every department has job descriptions for every position, and they'll usually point to the bottom line. Duties as assigned or directed by the fire chief. That covers everything. Oh, sorry. Well, no one ever trained me. Sorry, we can't train everybody on everything. We'd love to. I'd love to train everybody on everything, but chances are there's going to be something that is going to catch any one of us on a typical day that, God, nobody ever taught me how to do that. Well, thankfully, with a team of people, being that we typically have 3-4 people in a company, hopefully between one of us, we can solve this problem. And you know what? If we can't solve the problem as a company, know where to find your resources. A good company officer, or maybe even you as a brand new firefighter, when you find yourself on scene, whenever the captain's even shaking his or her head going, shit, I don't know how to handle this one. Maybe you're that one that suggests, well, hey, Cap, is this something we should maybe, again, you're not telling the captain what to do, but hey, Cap, is this something we should maybe call the hazmat team for? Or maybe we should call the truck company for? Or maybe we call the battalion chief to get some advice? Because that just may be the prompt for success, as I call it, prompt for success. You're not telling them what to do, but you're tactfully, respectfully, with a smile on your face, suggesting, or hey, consider this. That's what a true team is. True teams don't let their leaders or their team members fail, and that's what we're here for. So I'm hoping you're finding this information to be at least valuable, whether it's one tip per episode or hopefully multiple tips. And hopefully I'm teaching you or exposing you to things that you may not have heard already. Because again, you got to learn how to be, you got to learn about the position and prepare for the position before you can prepare for the test. Hey, all eyes are on you. We know that. Do your best because you're expected to be at your best, especially during your first probationary year. So as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. My contact information, social media footprint. Hey, feel free to reach out if I can ever be of assistance. So until the next episode, y'all take care.